Hey guys, I want to take a second to thank Comfort Pro. Since 2001, Comfort Pro has been helping customers stay comfortable where they live, work, and play. They stand behind their work with a 100% customer satisfaction guarantee. They have 24/7 emergency service, and if you mention the show, you receive a free watchdog maintenance plan for 1 year. Call Comfort Pro at 484-917-1803. 484-917-1803. That's Comfort Pro. This is going to be a good one, Hugo.
The Brad Weisman Show. Real people, real life, and everything in between.
So what do your kids think of this?
Oh, yeah, so embarrassed. I'm not here for the money, but I'll still take it. Take it.
Unfiltered conversations with the people shaping our world.
Because you're judging yourself by your intentions. They're judging you by your actions.
Exactly right.
You know, my wife said to me, you go to work and you give everyone the Mitchell buffet, and you come home and you give me the scraps.
And now, your host, Brad Weisman.
All right. You know what, Hugo?
What is it?
I feel like it's been a long time.
Mm-hmm.
It's been so long. I mean, I think people know we record the shows by now. They know it's not live, and that's okay. The secret's over. But you know, we had a good, I think, couple weeks that we've been kind of off.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy your time?
Yes. Relaxing.
Away from me. Is that what you're trying to say? I enjoyed my time away from him. No, but you know, I was just up at the U.S. Open over the weekend, and this is just a good segue into the guest we have today, because I was at the event, and it was really cool. It was up in Long Island at Shinnecock golf course. They gave you sunblock as you came in. American Express actually was handing out sunblock to everybody, which is really cool. And I get up there, I grab this little bottle. I'm thinking I'm going to put this on right away. Of course, you get up to the golf course and you get kind of carried away. And all of a sudden later on, I'm I can feel a little fried on the forehead. And every week I get more forehead than I had the week before. That wasn't supposed to be that funny, by the way. But I do. I get more forehead. And so it was hot. So I finally put the sunblock on, and then I applied it again. And you know, it was probably a little too late, because I think you're supposed to do that beforehand or after. Well, we have somebody here that's going to tell us a little bit about that. She was on before. Her name is Marykelly. Serves in Omnia Med Spa and Integrative Health. Is that what you're using now?
Integrative Health and Med Spa.
Integrative Health. So I had it backwards.
I do it all the time.
Oh my God. Well, there's all these different terms that you guys use. It's unbelievable.
My gosh, I know.
So welcome back to the show. Come up there on the microphone just a little bit more, just so we can hear everything you say.
Gotcha.
So what the hell did I do wrong with the sunblock?
You didn't reapply.
I did, though, later on. I did, because I was sweating.
What time did you start, and what time?
I started an hour after I should have.
Okay.
Should I put sunblock on before?
Yeah, about 15, 30 minutes
That's
before.
what I thought. See, that's where I screwed up. Because when I was putting it on, I'm putting it over sweat as I'm putting it on.
Right.
Which is probably not a good idea.
Yeah, you should have dry skin for
Dry
sure.
skin for sure. Okay. So there we go. That was what she's here for. Oh, I get show's over. No, I'm just kidding. No, but
my message is out.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks
we
for
had
having
so much fun the last time.
Yeah,
and
it was great.
I learned a lot. I really did.
Yeah. There's a lot to learn.
There is. There's
really
so much going on
field.
in your field.
Yes.
Aesthetics are huge today.
Oh, for sure.
We all want to look younger, even though we're older. We all want to look healthier, as healthy as we possibly can.
For sure.
We're told so many things. The other thing I got to say too, and we'll get started on some of the stuff we want to talk about, is we are bombarded with everybody's opinion of what the right thing is to do.
Right.
Do you see that too, obviously?
Well, there is. I mean, we are being thrown marketing all day, every day. And the incredible marketing that is out there really impacts the health industry a lot.
Yeah.
So it's a common thing. People come to me and they're like, I don't know what to do because I'm being thrown. There's so much information being thrown at me. Take this supplement or do this skincare or do this or do that. And it's really not complicated. You're just the victim of marketing.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So here, let's just tell people why you're qualified to be here. I think it's a good thing to know. You know, if I'm going to a house and trying to sell a house, people want to know what's your experience. What do you have? So tell me what are your qualifications to be talking about this stuff?
So a lot, really. I mean, I've been in medicine a long time. I'm getting up there. So 26 years as a registered nurse.
Oh, that's awesome.
I have my master's in education. I have been a type 1 diabetic for 27 years. I'll tell you, that's probably where I learned the most in my own journey.
Wow.
I've been in aesthetic medicine for 8 years. I train other people how to become injectors. And then I've just had so much training in lifestyle medicine. I'm a certified nurse health coach. Yeah. So, and this is what I do, right? So live a very boring life outside of work because I'm very passionate. So I don't watch TV. I read and I read and I research and I just really enjoy it. It's such a passion for me. So, while other people might be sitting back and watching true crime or something like that on TV, I'm like reading some new research study on, the effects of GLP or something like that.
That's cool.
Because I really like to know what I'm talking about to help guide people through these things.
You're a student of your craft.
Absolutely.
And I think that's across anything that you do. Hugo's always learning about audiovisual and all the things he does in marketing, realtor wise, 30 some, and that's what you have to do.
Right.
People will, if you give up or you think you're the expert at any point in your career, you're done. You might as well just pack it up and move to Key West, which would not be a bad idea. Actually. I'm trying to think if that maybe is the way to go. Right. You might as well pack it up because nobody's going to want to hear you anymore because you're not relevant to what's going on in the world, in your craft. So
for sure. And
very cool.
Ego is a big thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I have no ego in this. I am always, and I say it all the time, I am always a student. I bring injectors in who have less experience than me to do trainings. I don't care if there's somebody who's willing to come in and we collaborate. I'm a big collaborator. And so you just always have to be the student and not assume that you know everything or try to prove that you know everything because you'll never be the best.
Yeah. Well, since we're talking about injecting right away, we thought it was going to go a different pathway, but we're going to go right into the injection thing. Sure. Injecting. I think it's funny that that's the term that became the right term.
I know.
To me, every time I hear the word injector, I just blows my mind that that's the term that your industry came up with saying, you know what's going to sound friendly? Injecting.
Right.
It just doesn't sound friendly.
I know. It really
Is
doesn't.
there pamper? Could you use the word pamper the skin? Could you do something? No. Somebody's going to come up with something at some point. Don't you think? But what was the term before? It was just Botox.
Well, Botox is kind of the name that everybody uses. It's a brand name.
It's a brand. Like Kleenex is a brand.
Exactly. Yeah. And so, it's a great name though. It really is a great name. It leads to a lot of confusion sometimes, but it's a great name. But no, there is no better word. That is what we are called. We are called nurse injectors. If you went to esthetician school as well, you can be a nurse esthetician, aesthetic nurse, something like that.
Sure.
No, we say nurse injector.
Yeah. So has anything changed in that industry? I think it's been 6 months, 8 months, or maybe a year. Has it been a year?
Yeah, probably about.
I can't remember.
Yeah, probably.
So
a year.
It's interesting. So have things evolved? Is there something that any different now?
Well, it's been evolving.
It's been evolving.
Regenerative medicine has been evolving for the last few years, where we talk a lot more about collagen stimulation. So any sort of aesthetic medicine really needs to take like a multimodality approach because aging happens on so many different levels.
Right.
So if you're just treating the muscle with a toxin like Botox, you're only hitting one point of aging.
Oh, interesting.
So
there's preventative, because that's not preventative, is it?
It can be preventative.
It can
right?
be.
Yeah, and the way it's preventative is that what creates lines and wrinkles over time are repetitive facial movements. So if you're frowning in between your eyebrows, and I would show you, except that I can't. So I'm like, that skill has been gone a long time.
You show her, Brad.
So you mean like this?
Like that. Yeah.
Which I don't do a lot of.
I
have a lot of smile wrinkles, hopefully. Yeah.
Right. Well, a lot of people do, right? Because that's a good sign. I always tell people when they have crow's feet, I'm like, look, it just shows you're very happy and you smile a lot. Yeah. But that repetitive, muscle movement is what creates the line. So if you relax those muscles and you can't repetitively create that expression, then it's going to weaken that muscle over time, which is actually a good thing.
It is.
So there's most muscles you want to strengthen.
So over time, you do this, it will actually get to a point where it doesn't have the same muscle reaction.
Right. Well, your muscle's weakened like anything, right? You put a cast on your arm and you're not using that muscle, it atrophies.
Yeah,
so it's the same thing. So if you're not using your forehead muscle, then it starts to atrophy. So a lot of times, what we'll see is that, for me, for example, I've been doing it for 10 years. Like I've been getting it myself even before I was an injector. Even when it's all worn off, I don't have any lines in my forehead at rest. And that's because for all these years, I haven't really been able to.
I'm going to keep looking at your face as you say this stuff,
I know,
just so you know. I have to.
Imagine
I'm looking at your forehead. I'm looking at your forehead. I'm like, so it basically, so even if you didn't have injections at this point, it would probably kind of stay the way it is.
Yeah, at rest.
At rest.
I'd be able to move the muscle, but at rest, I wouldn't have
rest.
lines. So
Interesting.
yeah, you can do it a lot of different ways. Some people are like, I want to be on it. I want my forehead to look perfectly smooth, like a skating rink all the time, every day.
Skating rink.
And and then there's other people who are like, I just like to treat myself every 6 months. And I say, there's no wrong way to do it. There's
Yeah.
really not.
Right.
So it just depends on what your goals are.
How do you know when you've overdone?
Well, it's not even overdoing it. Filler, I would say, is a different conversation about overdoing.
That's like the lips and the
that's
cheeks
like,
and
depositing product into your skin. And so that's changed a lot.
Do you have
too.
any of that there?
I do, actually.
Because you look down, I'm like, she's got
I know,
something
I'm always
here.
looking. So this is RHA Redensity. So I really like the RHA line. There's a lot of fillers out there, and there's a lot of really good ones. This is one of the latest ones. So it's a dynamic filler, so it stretches, so it looks a lot more natural.
Interesting.
And there's a lot of different types, and so it's called G Prime. So it's kind of like the thickness, the rheology of it, like how long it stays, how stiff it is, all of that.
Is that
There's
what
a
they use
lot
for
of
the
science.
lips and stuff like that, or no?
Yeah. So this would be a product that I would use in the temples, in the lips, sometimes just kind of like fine lines if I want to go very superficial under the eyes. So any area where you want to go really superficial, and then there's really thick fillers that you would put in the chin and the jawline and the cheeks and things like that to recreate.
And I've seen the
bone.
cheeks like where they look like kind of like this, like they look like
Yeah.
balls are underneath there.
That was, they probably were either victims of filler from a long time ago, or
Does the filler stay?
It does. So
Oh,
the
wow.
aesthetic result typically people will say lasts about a year, but under MRI, you can see filler for like 4 or 5 years after somebody gets it done.
Whoa.
So that's why you have to use very little bits strategically placed.
Right.
So when I'm doing filler on someone, unless I'm doing a lot of volume replacement, I'll use like something like this. This is like Radius. So this stimulates collagen, but it also fills. But when we dilute it, we can kind of feather it into the tissue. And then
wow.
like about a month or two after getting it, you'll see
So
kind
it's
of
not
your
as
final
harsh.
result.
It's not as harsh then. It kind of like
By
blends in.
itself, without the saline, it's a very, very stiff filler, the stiffest.
But when you
when you hyper dilute it, it does more of a collagen stimulation and a little bit of filling at the same time.
amazing.
So there's a lot of science behind this. It doesn't get enough credit. People will, oh, I want to get trained to be an injector. And then they'll go through the training and they're like, I had no idea.
Right.
I did not know it was this involved. And I said, it is very serious medicine.
Yeah.
And you have to know your anatomy inside and out. So our
And you can
training
screw it
focuses
up.
on that.
You could really screw somebody up.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Like
for sure.
permanently screw somebody up?
You could with filler for sure if you don't know what you're doing. Like that's why our training is so anatomy focused. And I had done a cadaver training
So
recently.
hence Stanley, who is over here, she brought him along to talk to us about how he feels about this stuff being put in his face. But no, you said you just did a cadaver, like a human head, a real human head.
Yes.
Thank God, everybody. She decided not to bring that into the studio.
No.
That's good.
And of course, out of the respect for the person who was willing
absolutely.
to. So I said a lot of prayers
So
for that
people
person.
actually they've decided, hey, when I die, we're going to use my head
Right.
or any part of the body.
I don't think that, they don't know exactly what it's going to
be
be
used for. But it's used for science.
It's used for
obviously
science
science,
and to, safely be able to perform procedures on people.
So what did you learn? Hey guys, if you're looking to buy or sell a house in Berks County or beyond, let me know. This is Brad Weisman from The Brad Weisman Show. You probably know I'm also a realtor, but I wanted to remind you, if you have any questions or you need anything, please give me a call, 484-256-5836. Thanks.
I learned a lot of it I knew, and I'm not
Right.
saying that like I have to know these things because I
Right.
teach other people, but to see it, to visualize. And then also it's being run by this incredible plastic surgeon, probably one of the best on the East Coast, Dr. Jason Bloom out of Bryn Mawr. Brilliant plastic surgeon. And so he also was telling us about like injection techniques and practicing what plane of the tissue we're in. And I mean, it was just, priceless.
Very cool.
Yeah, very cool.
It's like anything. I think you can learn all the things that are underneath the skin, but until you probably see it and get there
Visualize
and look at
it.
it's like, whoa, okay, this is a little different than I thought. It's just maybe connects
Right.
differently than I thought, or is it's wild.
It is wild. It's so useful. It's really, really useful in keeping
Awesome.
people safe. So it doesn't have to be dangerous.
Yeah.
The reality is, like with filler, you can cause a vascular occlusion, meaning that you block blood flow in a vessel. And so that's,
that's
the
not
biggest
good.
concern.
Yeah.
Right. But we have the medicine to treat it. So
Okay.
it's unless there's an injector who's ignoring the symptom symptoms or not listening to their patient when the patient's saying, this is what I'm experiencing.
Yeah.
It's very reversible. I probably have performed at this point in my life between 10 and 12,000 injections.
Oh my gosh.
And so
That's a
it's
lot.
happened to me twice.
Wow.
Yeah. One time was bad judgment on my part. It was when I was a younger injector. And the other time was very much a fluke. Both made full recoveries. So, yeah.
Unbelievable. That's incredible. And the honesty is great. I mean, that shows you how you learn too. You're honest about it.
You
It's
have to.
cool.
We focus a lot on
it's very
treating
cool.
vascular occlusion.
Yeah.
So,
So we were talking about, before we went on, we started recording, we were talking about the myths.
yes.
Let's get into the myths. Let's talk about the myths that you hear out there. Because it's like anything. I always think a myth, there's a reason for it.
For sure.
Okay. And it's an opinion. So what do you feel are the myths, and how can you say, you know what, that myth, yes, it's out there, but let me counteract that, or let me demyth it.
Right. Demystify.
Demystify. Yeah, whatever. Let's talk about that.
So I think that, if we're talking about aesthetic medicine, there's one major myth. And then if we're talking about wellness, there's one major myth. I think when we're talking about aesthetic medicine, it's that this is about vanity. And so the reason that this myth was created, because for some people it has become that, because they went too far down the rabbit hole, and maybe it did cause some body dysmorphia. But you have to remember, like anything negative about how you feel about your appearance is when it starts to impact your life in a negative way. Like it impacts your relationships, your job, all of these different things. That's when those things, like anything in life, that's when they become something more pathologic.
Yeah.
But we as humans should care about our appearance. It is completely part of whole body wellness. Yep. And so that's the book that I brought today. And I laugh about this book. And if my dad sees this podcast, he's going to really get a kick out of this. So my dad was a big philosopher and artist, and also a cop. He was like a walking contradiction.
All over the place.
So anyway, he made me read this book when I was 10 years old. I read a lot of books like this at a very young age. So anyway, this was a zoologist, Desmond Morris, in the late 1960s. And he spoke about how, human nature is really animalistic nature. We see this in all of the different species. And so basically we were given this innate, I don't want to say ability, but this innate drive to look good, to appear well, because it's survival of the fittest, right? So when you're looking for a partner and things like that, of course that has evolved, but that is part of human nature. So when we treat someone with injections, like, and every injector has seen this, you might do Botox on them for the first time. The next time you see them, they're working out. The next time you see them, they have a new job. The next time, it's a positive feedback loop.
Yeah.
So you cannot treat the whole person without addressing aesthetic medicine. You really can't.
Right.
Because if you look in the mirror and you're like, I look old and tired, you internalize that.
Sure.
And then you're
Absolutely.
walking around, I am old and tired. I can't go to the gym. I am old and tired. Why even bother? I am old and tired. So when you reverse that and you give someone just a little bit of improvement, it could be a 10% improvement, that stimulates that whole positive feedback.
It's just like exercise. I mean, there's days, I obviously don't exercise a whole lot, but when I do, in the mornings, I try to do like a 2.5 mile walk.
Right.
The mornings I miss that, it's a completely different feeling the rest of the day.
For sure.
Because a lot of times what I do on my walks too is I listen to motivational people and inspirational stuff, all that stuff. So not only do I do the walk, I'm feeding my brain and I'm feeding my body some type of movement, and it makes a big difference for that whole day. It's incredible what that does for the day.
Huge.
So that's your saying. So if you look in the mirror and you see all the wrinkles and things like that, you're saying that if you can change that a little bit, it'll maybe spur on of, you know what, damn it, I look pretty good today.
Right.
That kind of a feeling. And you're like, all right, then it makes the rest of your day better, or you maybe want to work out more, or you maybe want to eat better, things like that. That's cool.
Yeah, and there's a lot of science behind it. This is not just, anecdotal. Like there's a lot of data behind this. So,
that's awesome.
Yeah, so I would say that's probably the biggest myth in aesthetic medicine. I think in wellness, it's that disease is inevitable, right? So dying of old age is inevitable. Dying of disease is not inevitable.
Right.
Leading causes of death, the majority of the leading causes of death are all preventable.
Yeah.
We know exactly how cardiovascular disease happens. We know exactly how it happens. And we have all the tools in the world. We have all of the information, yet it's still the leading cause of death around the world.
Yeah.
So we're not doing something right. So we focus on that a lot at our place, where we really, I know we're med spa, but we do a lot of preventative medicine. And so, we're really kind of educating people, like it doesn't have to be this way. And this is what we can do to get you in a better, healthier place.
So a lot of it's psychological then too. Like it's the whole, I would think, right? I mean,
Well, the pillars of health,
yeah, absolutely.
are
Yeah.
obviously physical
Yeah.
health, your
Yep.
mental health, your
Yep.
social health, your spiritual health. Like, these
all
are
comes
all,
together.
it all comes together.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
That's interesting.
Right.
So if somebody's looking to go get Botox done, obviously they should call you. But if
especially
they're,
if you're married to them.
oh boy, I know where that's going. I'll talk to her. But so if somebody is looking to do that, what are the things, like obviously come to you, that's the general, but is there like any kind of signs you like, you do not want to go to that person, or you don't want to go to somebody that says this, or somebody that is willing to do this?
Some red flags.
Thank you. Red flags.
That's
Good
a
one.
really
Good
good
one.
question that I haven't thought about. Red flags would be inexperience. Red flags would be not explaining what they're doing and why they're doing it, not explaining the risks, not giving you the opportunity to come back and maybe tweak a little. Every time my client leaves the door, I say, don't walk around with a rogue eyebrow, because sometimes if it doesn't absorb well on one side or the other, your one eyebrow could pop up. And I say, you come back, it's no charge. We pop it. It takes 10 seconds. We'll fix it.
You could fix that?
In 10 seconds.
What kind of eyebrow is this again?
Well, we call them Spock brows in
does
the
it do
industry.
this?
Yeah, because if you relax certain parts of the muscle, other parts will engage and work more. So it's really a balance.
That would be my freaking luck. Seriously.
Yeah.
My luck would be I'd have my face be doing all kinds of weird stuff.
Honestly, it's in 10 seconds. Like,
And
it
you
is
can
so
you
easy.
just counteract it.
Yeah, exactly. But you have to know your muscle anatomy, and you have to know not just the muscle anatomy, but you have to really understand depressor and elevators, and there's a lot to know about it.
that's
so
crazy.
Yeah, they
That's
have to have
wild.
had good training and good experience for sure.
Wow, that's cool. And so you basically say to them, look, if it's not right, come back. Yeah, we'll make it right.
It's we try to make it a perfect science, but it's not always, and you have to get to learn how somebody's muscles react. Not everybody's the
different,
same,
right?
Yeah, and everyone's muscles, like there's 6 different types of frontalis muscles. So I mean, the pattern, you can't do one pattern; it doesn't work for everyone. So you have to kind of know the anatomy and the science behind it. Yeah.
Very cool.
It is very cool. It's a really fun industry to be in. Yeah,
it's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's great. I mean, not for me yet. Maybe at some point I'll do. I'm too much of a baby. But let's get into the thing that, I mean, obviously we hear about all the time, the GLP-1s.
Yes.
And I've, many friends that take it. I think it's great for people that if they have obviously some serious health things going on.
Absolutely.
I had a guy on here, I forget where he was from, but he was on, he's big on it. I mean, he's big on the microdosing, big on all that. And he thinks that at some point, this was a thing that he said when he was on, was that he feels that at some point, a large part of the population will be on some type of a GLP, with the peptides or whatever, right?
Sure. Let's hope so.
Because he said of the benefits of that it has.
Yeah. He must do his research.
He's written a bunch of books on it, stuff like that. I mean, he's pretty he's pretty well knowledgeable about it. But my thing was, are these things, I said this to him too, they're is it new or no? Is this stuff new? So do we have to, you always have to worry about Botox, that stuff's been done for a long, long time. We kind of know where we're going with that. It's been proven, it works, and there's really no bad things about it. But these GLP-1s, you got a lot of people on these things. Yeah. Are they, what's your opinion on it?
2005, first GLP.
In 2005. So they've been around for a while. And it's been
It's
around for a while.
better and better.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it just kind of like as the technology got better, or I would say the formula,
the
formula got better, and the symptoms were able to be managed a lot better. Then it kind of became,
the symptoms were a big thing.
They were a big thing, and they still can be. With semaglutide, you can still get some pretty severe GI symptoms. They just get better and better. The way I like to think of GLPs is the antibiotic of our century, right? So infectious disease.
That's a good way to look at it.
Yeah,
Great way to look at it.
Infectious disease, one of the leading causes of death for centuries and centuries until 1928, the antibiotic. So it changed everything. For us, most of our leading causes of death are behaviorally related, and they're related to insulin resistance and cardiovascular disease. This drug impacts the majority of the leading causes of death. And so if we can change that,
crazy.
I mean, what the sky's the limit. But if you don't do it the right way.
Yeah.
And I will say, and I don't say this for my own self and to have people, do it through us or my way or whatever.
Yeah.
It has to be medically supervised.
Oh yeah. I mean, I don't know how any drug that you're on or anything you're doing should be supervised.
It's shameful. Yeah. How that's kind of, and that's where it really got its bad reputation. But like in our program, you meet with me for nurse health coaching monthly.
Sure.
So we have a physician assistant. We're physician owned. So they do all the prescribing, and then they meet with me monthly. We check their body composition. You must, if you are prescribing GLP medication, you must have a body composition machine. It changes
Because of the
everything.
muscle.
Because you can see where they're losing body fat. And we have that conversation when people come in. We're like,
So it
"You're
actually
losing a little."
shows you where they're losing muscle?
Yeah,
The
like
machine?
we'll compare month to month and be
Get
like,
outta here.
you're losing a little
The
muscle.
face is the big one that I see.
It is your superficial fat.
They call it
pads.
GLP face or whatever, the peptide.
Yeah, but it doesn't have to be that way.
Right.
It really doesn't. Like we don't have a lot of that with our clients at all, because think of it this way. If you are filling space with muscle while you're losing fat, that's a positive thing. It's a little bit trickier in the face,
Yeah.
right? But
Yeah.
when the reason that it works better in the face with exercise and doing things the right way is, remember, exercise is really good for skin health because it increases, your tissue perfusion in your face. What does the blood bring? All of the growth factors, elastin, collagen, fibrin, all the things you need to maintain good skin health.
Right.
So often, exercise is a piece of that. So
How do you do your face, you said? How do you, because I've seen people pretty drawn.
Yeah,
I mean,
because it's a slow process. So if you
Okay.
lose the weight too fast, not eating enough protein, you're not exercising.
So the muscle goes away in your face.
Yeah, now I would say the muscle is more for the rest of the body, but in
Okay.
the face, like I said, that's more of a rapid weight loss, and that's more of like you're not exercising, you're not getting that good blood perfusion to the
Yeah.
tissue and things like
Oh,
that.
okay.
So will you lose some,
Yeah.
fat loss? Will you have some fat loss in your face no matter what you're doing? Yeah, most people will have some. It's just not as dramatic.
Shots or the microdosing with like pills. What about is the pill microdosing? Is that what that is, or is that?
Well, pills really only have like a 0.4 to 1% absorption rate, like bioavailability. The shots are 90%.
But don't you think it'll go there or no? You think eventually it'll
If
go
they
there?
can make it where it's absorbable, I mean,
Yeah.
a sublingual version, like
Yeah.
sublingual, you can absorb a little bit better. But the shots, I mean, anything really injectable is going to, you're
Goes right to you.
bypassing the GI system.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
it's going to be much more effective that way.
Interesting.
But no, I think that this medicine is the greatest medicine that we've seen in a really, really long time.
It's amazing. And I'm hearing that. We're hearing that a lot. Every time we have somebody on that has anything to do with the GLPs or anything like that, they say the same thing. It's a common
Amazing.
thread.
Honestly,
Yeah.
I have seen women, men come into my practice like that, started out morbidly obese, and I'm not even exaggerating, bikini this summer in a year's time.
See,
But
look, there's hope for me, Hugo. I might be able to be in a bikini by the end of the
listen,
summer.
that Speedo is not out of reach.
Oh no, it's always been out of reach. Always.
But
Even
it's
when I was
just
skinny.
amazing,
No, it's great.
Yeah,
it's cool.
great, yeah.
And what it's just neat to see that, I keep waiting for the foot to fall on that and it just seems like everybody's very positive about it. And I think
Yeah.
it's great.
Yeah, it's been around a long time,
Yeah.
so it's not like this is brand new stuff.
But what made it come to the forefront?
The formula changes.
Okay.
Like I said, like being able to make the formula where it was a little bit more manageable. And now these ones that we have are changing, right? So semaglutide GLP, tirzepatide GLP GIP, retatrutide that's coming out is going to be GLP GIP and glucagon. So it's just that, and that's going to be even better. So I want to say semaglutide maybe like a 15% body fat loss, tirzepatide around 25%, and now with retatrutide over 30%. Wow. But with the bone, tirzepatide and retatrutide are going to be a little bit better with that muscle preservation and things like that too.
Amazing.
So
A lot of Tide things going on in there. I hear a lot of Tide at the end of each thing.
Yes, all the tides. Yeah.
All the tides are coming in. They're all
tides are
coming in.
all
The
coming
tides
in.
are coming in.
Right.
So let's go into, there's some different things we had on here too. We talked about the facial aging. What's this fat pad descent? What is that?
So they basically.
I even
start
wrote
to
on here,
melt
what
off
the
your
hell
face.
is this?
So again,
Yes.
talking about the cadaver lab, you
Yes.
have your skin layer.
Yeah.
Underneath you have your superficial fat layer. Underneath that you have something called your semas, retaining ligaments, and then your deep fat, and then the periosteum and bone. So that superficial fat is the fat you can move on your face, right?
Oh, yeah,
The deep
yeah.
fat you can't. It's like plastered against the bone. So you can't move that, and that doesn't
Interesting.
change a lot with aging. Superficial fat will start to descend because as your, ligaments and muscles weaken and all of that, like that, there's not much holding it up. Plus you're losing it as well. And so that will kind of start to fall down. So that's when you see Sorry. That's when you see like the face start to like sink
Yes,
down and
yes.
inward like that. That's the superficial fat pad sinking.
I saw a girl on social media that I know, and she did something with her eyes and here. They put something
Fat.
in there.
Maybe like a
They
fat
put
transfer?
Yeah.
So they could take fat transfer, like fat from another part of your body, and inject it into your face.
And then that works. That kind of, it looked amazing. Like after 8 weeks, it looked really good.
It's great. Yeah, it's great.
Amazing.
There's a lot out there. There's a lot. I always tell people when they come in, I say, how much does it bother you? How much you want to spend? And then I can kind of create a treatment plan around that. But if you're coming in and saying, I only have this much to spend, I'm like, look, I can really do something with that. But like, we
get the hell
can't move
out of here.
mountains. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you have to have realistic
So
expectations.
let's talk a little bit about that, and I won't make you quote any prices.
Okay.
Has it? She's like, oh shit.
No, okay.
No. Has it become more affordable?
Depends on where you are.
Because Botox used to be any of this stuff used to be for the rich and famous.
Right.
I mean, period. You heard Hollywood do this stuff all the time, got this stuff done. It has become a little bit more.
I guess it has in a way as more brands have come out.
Competition.
My feeling is that we keep our prices as low as we do because I go back to the companies. Like I don't just say like, I always say to people when they tell me something I don't want to hear, I go, I don't accept that. So,
right.
they'll
That's
be
right.
like, this is what it costs. And I'm like, I don't accept that. And so we just pass that on to our clients. So it's beneficial for us because people will come to us because they're like, oh, good. they can do more because they're not empty in their bank account just to do forehead Botox. They're like, okay, now I can afford to do a toxin treatment and a little bit of filler and this, and they end up looking better. They're happier. It's just all around,
Awesome.
a better.
Yeah, I just, because like I said, it used to be the rich and famous. So obviously, there's some type of affordability that has
For sure.
has gotten better,
Right. And
Or you
people
would-
prioritize it more.
Yeah, that's the other thing too.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you could spend it on this or spend it on that. Instead, you're going to go, you know what? Maybe I won't get my nails done every week. I'll do it every 2 weeks, and I'm going to do this in between, or I'll do whatever. That makes sense.
I spend a lot.
I don't even
less
know what it
clothing.
costs. My wife is smart enough to let me not tell me any of the costs on any of this stuff.
I'm telling you, she pays too much.
This is going to be good. So, Jess, this show is for you.
Yes,
Yes. But no, let's talk about some of the other stuff here. The wellness labs, nobody talks about. Let's talk about the wellness part, the vitamin D deficiencies, the insulin resistance, the inflammation, what the other thing is, ApoB, whatever that is.
Oh man, talk about that.
Let's get into some of that because we're up on 30 minutes here. We can go a little bit more, but then we'll obviously going to have you come back.
Right. There's a
because
lot.
you've got all kinds of ideas here of what we could talk about. So let's talk about this, the lab that nobody talks about.
Yeah, that's a really great topic to talk about because we get this a lot. I went to my doctor, I had all the labs done, they told me everything is normal, and then we look at that lab panel and we're like, well, this was missed, this was missed, this was missed. It's not the physician's fault. I'm not putting down physicians.
Yeah.
It's the insurance model.
Yep.
The insurance companies are telling them what to order and what not to order. So what we can do as being cash pay is that we can add the tests that really matter. So insulin resistance, by the way, is a huge problem. And that's the cause of a lot of this dysfunctional, metabolic pathways that we see. Metabolic syndrome, if you've heard of that.
Let's explain insulin resistance as opposed to, does that mean that has to do with diabetic type stuff?
Well, it could eventually.
Yeah.
So, type 2 diabetes is a diagnosis code. So, when you hit 6.4, you're deemed type 2 diabetic. Well, were you diabetic, at 6.2? Yes. Were you insulin?
Interesting.
So type 2 diabetes is insulin resistance, right? It can start 10 to 15 years before that hemoglobin A1C gets to 6.4 and you get the official diagnosis. Well, you've had 10 to 15 years of damage from insulin resistance on your body. We're not great at preventative health. We don't intervene aggressively enough and early enough, for sure. So insulin resistance is when you have too much or taking in too much energy and then your body starts to not use it well. And so it'll store fat in the wrong places. So if you ever hear of ectopic fat, that's fat like visceral fat around your organs or fat that gets marbled
Fatty
into
heart,
your
fatty livers.
into your muscle. So muscle's a huge one. So insulin resistance is very successfully treated with these GLPs, by the the way. But you don't really know from hemoglobin A1C how insulin resistant someone is. You have to check a fasting insulin. And you also have to do, if the fasting insulin is high, meaning your body has to excrete so much insulin to keep up with the demand because your body's not using it well, then that's how we know. Like those beta cells are going to poop out after a while because they're going to get exhausted. And so that's when people end up having to go on insulin.
Interesting.
So, yeah, I mean, these types of tests that get missed give us so much information.
Yeah.
And so we can really turn someone's life around and make them feel better. You know, a lot of people will aimlessly supplement. And so checking something like a vitamin D, you're like, okay, if your vitamin D is normal, why are you taking vitamin D?
Yeah, right.
If you're, by the way, nobody's is normal. Everyone is low. So, you know, but you can't over supplement.
Mine raised up a little bit from the weekend. I think I got some vitamin D.
Yes.
Yeah, my head was providing a lot of vitamin D on that day.
And that makes a lot of sense, right? So,
but most of the time we're not getting, I mean, you have to have sun, right? You have to have some type of UVs to create vitamin D.
Right. And you
which
might
is
need
for
more.
mental health too.
For sure.
Vitamin D is
metabolic
huge.
Health.
Yes.
Making testosterone.
Yes.
There's so much.
There you
Vitamin
go.
D is
See,
related
Hugo?
to a lot. Yes. If you want to increase your testosterone, then increase your
I think he's fine. He
vitamin
has a bunch of kids. He's good.
That's right.
Yeah. You're like, his levels are fine. We're sure of it. But yeah, so vitamin D, you know, when people tend to need less supplementation in the summer, but it's a hormone. And so
And it does
very
make you feel
metabolically
better.
related.
That vitamin D makes you feel better, period.
It does. And
Absolutely.
the B vitamins, right?
Yeah.
So if you don't have enough B vitamins, your homocysteine goes up. So these are all these different really cool labs that we can test. And people, like, once we make the interventions, like we'll do only labs that we can take actionable steps on. So once we can take those actionable steps, people are like, oh my gosh, I've been going to my doctor for 10 years trying to figure out why I feel terrible.
Yeah.
And I feel good now. And I said, because we took the data, we made an intervention, and we fixed it. And so, you know, it brings us to the cholesterol panel, which is my favorite.
Yes.
I know we don't have a ton of time, but this is
Yes,
a
I
long
get that done
explanation.
every 6 months or a year or something like that. Yeah.
All right, well, get it done with me because you're probably not getting all the tests that you need within that.
I get pretty many. I don't know.
Well, they're not checking probably your ApoB, right? So
That one that doesn't sound familiar.
No.
Because I would have seen that before.
so
What is ApoB?
So I'll explain from the top. When you get your cholesterol checked, they're checking the cargo. Okay, so let's think of cargo and trucks.
Okay.
So it's just testing the cargo. ApoB, all your bad particles that cause heart disease, they all have an ApoB protein attached to them because they're not water soluble. So to travel in your bloodstream, they need an ApoB. The easiest way to measure how many LDL particles you have is to check ApoB. They're the trucks on the road. Okay, so picture this. You have 300 milligrams per deciliter of cholesterol. You have 3 trucks on the road carrying that. There's not much risk of crashing into artery walls. Say you have 300 trucks on the road, your risk just went up a bunch. This is a very oversimplified way of explaining it.
I do like the truck and the cargo thing, though. It does help out with my simple brain. Yes.
Mine too. It's very complicated.
No, it's visual.
It's very complicated. So ApoB is the trucks on the road. So decreasing your risk of cardiovascular disease means taking trucks off the road.
Interesting.
Well, if you're not measuring the trucks, you might have a cholesterol of 199. Your doctor's like, you're good. Yeah. What if you have 155 ApoB particles and an excess of trucks on the road? You are not protected from heart disease.
Interesting.
So statin therapy is very beneficial in those
I'm
situations.
going to have to ask about that because I think I'm going this week or next week. I got to the
Might
doctor.
not be covered by your insurance, but you can ask.
But I don't, and that's the kind of thing, like I get the calcium test done on my heart.
Good.
I get that done I had it done, well, it was done 10 years ago. Then I just had it done recently. And it's not paid for by insurance.
Right.
But I'm one of those people, like I said, is there something I can do to check to see how things are going, as far as calcium?
Right.
So, and it actually checked out very well. And I did add some from 10, 15 years ago.
Right.
There's some added there. And he said that's kind of that progression does happen. But that's a test that's not covered. It was $250.
I know, it's worth it.
Like, geez, why not check your heart for something like that? And that
sure.
just blows my mind. They'd rather you have a heart attack and pay for that than to see what you have going on.
If
I
their
don't
way
get it.
was working, it wouldn't be the leading cause of death.
Yeah.
So really, honestly, I would say even more importantly than that is checking your ApoB because calcium score, 15% error rate. It measures hard plaques, which hard plaques are pretty stable.
Yep.
If you have hard plaque, you probably have soft. So CT angiogram is the best, more definitive way to look at plaque in your arteries.
I got more stuff to get taken.
Yeah, but the ApoB is like it's a
I'm going to have to ask about that, and that can be done with the blood test.
Absolutely. We do it. We do a panel. We do an incredible, I'm so proud of that lab panel.
Yeah.
It is really research based. It's amazing. And we get a lot of great information.
And that's so different than the other stuff you do. Like
It's
to
very
me,
different.
it is. Like
Yeah.
you guys are definitely the integrative health. I guess that's where it's all about. But you're so like well-rounded with the whole thing, which is
Whole
pretty
body.
wild.
That's what
Yeah.
my point in the beginning. Aesthetic
Yeah.
medicine is very much a part of whole body wellness. And preventative medicine includes hormone replacement therapy. It includes GLP. It includes sometimes statin drugs, sometimes metformin. So, pharmaceuticals get a really bad rap sometimes,
Yeah.
which is interesting. Again, that's more, I think, of social media, just kind of bad information spreading, because the pharmaceutical company has done a lot of great things, some
course.
terrible price gouging things, but they have changed medicine for sure.
They've also extended the life of us.
Exactly.
That's very important. Very important. Well, before we take off here, this is good stuff. What was the thing we wanted to, there was something else here. Oh, let's just go into this real quickly, just because it's good. The hormones, menopause, longevity, premenopause symptoms, why women gain weight for, just go through that a little bit. And then we'll wait for the next show to do all the other stuff.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So early hormone replacement is better because again, you don't want to wait until you've had bone loss or, brain impact or cardiovascular impact before you start treating in perimenopause, which can go on a very long time.
And this is for men too. Men have
For
hormone.
sure.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, so we do both. So
like pellets, and do they do the
we
pellets?
do not do pellets and injectables because there's a lot of risk that comes with that.
Interesting.
And so as research comes out, we've learned that transdermal replacement for men and women is
that
the safer way to go.
on the-
Creams and patches.
Get out of here.
So much safer because you bypass the liver. And so risk of blood clots, risk of, elevated hemoglobin and hematocrit. Testosterone in a metabolically unhealthy person can be very dangerous, testosterone supplementation, because it kind of, if you think of it, it makes your blood a little thick and sticky. And if you have a lot of plaque,
That's a problem.
So if you're doing hormone replacement and you're not checking somebody's metabolic house first, that can be really dangerous. So that's why every person that walks in our door for wellness gets that lab panel.
So you do for women and men? Do you do? Okay.
Absolutely.
Good.
But all transdermal. Yeah.
All transdermal. That's
All transdermal.
amazing.
Yeah. And it's an important part of preventative medicine, especially for women.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And let's talk about it. So you're saying that women gain weight after 40. So that's a big thing. They start to, I think men do too.
Right.
Yeah.
You just metabolically
Slow down.
you have some decline for sure. Insulin resistance risk and stuff like that can go up as well. But there's a lot to be said for brain health. We talk about Alzheimer's as an old person's disease. It's really starts in middle age. We just don't see the symptoms yet.
Wow.
But women are twice the risk. They have that drastic estrogen loss in that, stage of their life. And there's a lot of research showing that that's really why women are twice the risk. So we have to prevent the osteoporosis. We have to prevent the heart disease because cholesterol, is very much related to hormones. You need it to make hormones. So there's, the bone benefits, the muscle benefits, the brain benefits, the metabolic benefits, the mental health benefits.
Awesome.
I'm sure I'm missing some, but so we really take a look at preventative health, and all of these treatment plans are part of that.
Wow.
It's kind of like the perfect formula.
It's awesome. Really cool. Yeah. So we're going to have you come back because there's a lot of stuff that we missed.
Yeah. So like deep dives. Into
there's all kinds of
things.
stuff. There was some stuff that these are just things that the other topics that we could bring up next time. We did talk about the Ozempic and all those things like that. We talked about menopause, but hair loss, I have a problem with that one.
Right.
But the autoimmune disease, the myths for Botox. So I think we're going to have you come back on a regular basis and talk more about these things. Because I think it's important. And I think that people need to know what the myths are and how we debunk those myths,
Absolutely.
So thank you for
appreciate
being
it.
here.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
It's always fun.
Yes, very cool. All right, Hugo, you didn't even get to ask any questions this time.
No, I was intrigued by the topic.
I saw you. You're like thinking Botox. I can just see it. Yeah, I can see it. All right.
Filler.
Yeah, some filler. That's right. All right, that's about it. Thanks for joining us every Thursday at 7 p.m. If you want to find Mary, how do we find you?
Online.
Online.
Yeah.
Give me the.
OmniaHealthMedSpa.com.
There we go. All right, there you go. Thank you so much for watching the show. We will see you next Thursday, 7 p.m. All right, that's about it. Hi, this is Brad Weisman. Come back here every Thursday at 7 p.m. to watch The Brad Weisman Show. We have new guests every single week, and we love having you as an audience. All right, we'll see you soon.